Everyone talks about the Venator class when talking about Star Wars carrier vessels, but I'm here today to bring you not one, but four awesome fleet carriers that'll make you wish they stopped making so many Imperial Star Destroyers. So let's not waste any time and discuss these vessels. The Venator is an excellent example of a Star Destroyer carrier being capable of carrying around 420 starfighters, be that V-19 Torrents, the premier starfighter of the Republic Navy, ARC 170 heavy starfighters, Y-wing bombers, you name it, the Venator can carry it. It could even carry its own C-70 Charger in its ventral dock. While it is truly one of Quad Drive Yard's best Star Destroyers despite its Jar Jar characteristics, you won't be able to unsee it. It wasn't perfect, but it was an excellent fleet carrier, and that's what we're here talking about today. The first fleet carrier is, well, the only one on this list that I can confirm exists within one form of Star Wars canon, that being Legends. The first vessel being the Endurance-class fleet carrier of the New Republic military. You remember when we talked about the Nebula-class Star Destroyer? If you don't, make sure to check out this video. Basically, the New Republic was developing a whole new array of warships and starfighters under what was known as the Defender Project. Its premier vessel was the Nebula-class Star Destroyer, a truly awesome warship. The Endurance class was built off of this very platform. Although rather than heavy weapon emplacements, the Endurance was optimized to hold as many wings of starfighters as it could. As mentioned before, this is similar to the Venator class, which had less in terms of raw firepower, but more starfighters. The New Republic looked to the era of the Old Republic, aka the Clone Wars era, and opted for smaller weapon systems and more starfighter support, seeing how successful the starfighters of the Rebellion proved to be during the Galactic Civil War. So the New Republic had a new Star Destroyer carrier in the Endurance class, but it was not only a starfighter launch platform, it was often used as a flagship, seeing as it could remain near the back of an attack, launch its fighters, and maintain control of the battlefield and other vessels. It rarely charged headlong into battle. That was a job for the Nebula class. But how about we discuss more specifics, considering we have other fleet carriers to discuss. The Endurance class was 1,040 meters in length and could reach an atmospheric top speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour. It had a Class 1 and backup Class 10 hyperdrive to deploy it wherever it needed to go across the stars. When the combat was required, it was armed with 12 turbo lasers, balanced along the fore, port, and starboard side. It also had 8 ion cannons and 20-point defense laser cannons. But this wasn't what made the Endurance shine as a Star Destroyer. That specification goes to its starfighter complement. This fleet carrier had around 4 wings of starfighters, which typically range from 60 to 70 starfighters divided into 4 to 6 squadrons. The configurations were usually a single wing of short-range assault craft like the glorious K-wing bomber and Defender starfighters, which required the comfort of a Star Destroyer to dock and travel through hyperspace with. Whereas the other wings were composed of the highly advanced E-wing starfighter, speedy A-wings, and always faithful X-wings. These fighters provided long-range support, while the bombers provided short-range support, giving the Endurance class a wide variety of battle tactics. Now, to crew a vessel like this was around 6,795 officers and enlisted, and 76 gunners. Although a minimum crew of 2,265 could effectively run the Endurance for a time. I personally love this fleet carrier. It's similar to the Nebula class, and I hope that one day we can see these Star Destroyers in action on the big screen, however unlikely it is. Nevertheless, we must move on to our next fleet carrier, but before we do that, I should mention that I could not verify that these exist within canon, but are still awesome fan creations. When you think about it, many of these vessels and starfighters were created by writers and artists after George Lucas laid down the groundwork for Star Wars, but I digress. May I introduce you to the Impellor-class fleet carrier. I know, it looks familiar, almost a cross between an ISD, Gladiator class, and a Harrower class. But it is quite different. Let me explain the details for you. The Impellor-class fleet carrier comes in at 3,500 meters in length and sports a Class 2.5 hyperdrive with a backup Class 5. When it comes to weapons, it has a wide array. Heavy weaponry includes 51 octuple barbette turbo laser turrets. Medium weaponry consists of 48 medium dual turbo laser turrets, 116 medium single turbo laser cannons, 116 medium single turbo laser cannons, and 58 medium ion cannons. Anti-air weapons include 478 point defense laser cannons, and it also had 12 ordnance launchers and 2 assault ordnance launchers. Now yes, again, this is fan created for Star Wars role-playing, not canon, but if we consider the firepower a single impeller brought, it's quite intense. Definitely not a vessel you'd engage with lightly. That is, if you can even approach it. As a fleet carrier, the Impeller class carried a numerous selection of starfighters in its multiple hangars. For starters, there were about 8 wings of TIE LN space superiority fighters, 6 wings of TIE bombers, 5 wings of TIE defenders, if they were mass-produced that is, 4 wings of TIE interceptors, and 2 wings of Star Wing-classed assault boats. That's crazy. If we consider the standard wing capacity to be 60 starfighters and break that down into 12 squadrons each, the Impeller was able to hold under max and ideal stock 1,500 starfighters, far more than any other vessel including the Executor-class Super Star Destroyer. A CIS Lucrehulk battleship is the only vessel I know of in canon to have a capacity of 1,500 Vulture droids, which seems plausible considering they'd be small and droid operated. Now of course, yes, the Impeller class would need quite a lot of pilots to fill all 1,500 seats, but you have to imagine how these vessels would be deployed. Many of them would be so costly to operate that maintaining adequate numbers of pilots at all times isn't really feasible. Rather, you'd see an Impeller class operate with less pilots, but when missions required the need, all 1,500 starfighter cockpits would be filled. The Impeller class is quite the creation, and I think it will satisfy many of you fans who complain about the lack of starfighters on board ISDs and the like. But the Impeller isn't even the craziest fleet carrier I got on the list. That goes to the Magister-class fleet carrier, a vessel so large that it could dock 2 Imperial-class Star Destroyers within its protected center. So let's break this monster down. The Magister-class fleet carrier, a capital ship with a crew capacity of 175,000 officers, enlisted and support crew, sat in space at a length of 2,300 meters. This unique vessel is like the Imperial version of a Lucrehulk battleship, but arrowhead-shaped as Kuat drive yards tends to favor. Its superstructure left the center of the vessel open, allowing for numerous hangars and the ability to dock support warships when needed. This hollow center also protected the launch of starfighters and support craft from the unfriendly fire of the enemy. It did, however, cause the vessels some strange overlap in deflector shields, but a minor concern for the Magister class when you look at its weaponry. This fleet carrier is armed with 20 heavy mass driver cannons. Yes, I said mass driver cannons, just like those big ol' Mac weapons from Halo. Different, of course, smaller, but still powerful in their own right. And this warship was armed with 20 of them. So already I'm seeing signs that make me think maybe you wouldn't want to engage this vessel. But let's continue. The armament of the Magister also included 30 dual heavy ion cannons, 50 triple heavy Mega Masser batteries, 80 quad turbo laser batteries, 20 dual Mega Masser batteries, 80 point defense quad laser cannons, 80 advanced concussion missile launchers, and of course don't forget the 40 tractor beam projectors. Yeah, there's no doubt that this would be the centerpiece of any sector fleet. That is, unless you have a Superstar Destroyer to throw around. But the Magister class is a fleet carrier, so what does it carry? Well, obviously we got TIE LN space superiority starfighters. 800 in fact between the standard TIE LN and TIE Interceptor. It also held 300 TIE bombers, 100 support craft, and 4 gunships. Maybe even the famed Star Wing attack shuttles. There isn't much more about this glorious Imperial warship, although it is said that a single Magister class was deployed near the end of the Galactic Civil War with 2 under construction at Kuat drive yards. The remaining ship fled to the unknown regions with a small detachment of support vessels near the fall of the Galactic Empire, and the unfinished models were dismantled and scrapped by the New Republic forces after they seized control of Kuat drive yards. Maybe one day the Magister class fleet carrier will emerge from the shadows of the past and lay waste to the heroes of the New Republic. There is one more fleet carrier I want to mention, more of an honorable mention I should say. The Coronet class fleet carrier, one of the great warships made for Corellia during the centuries-long Light and Darkness War. Armed with fairly modest weapon systems, these fleet carriers were costly to maintain and operate, and due to this fact, most were mothballed. So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that fans can make some pretty awesome vessels, and that the current canon only has a limited number of true fleet carriers, and most only existed during the Clone Wars. Of course, if you know some fleet carriers that I may have missed, please let me know in the comments below. Or if you have some other cool topics to discuss, let me know. You can also join the Discord to discuss said topics and reach out to me personally. Nevertheless, I have a command ship to return to. Make sure to subscribe and blast a like on this video. Have an amazing day, and may the Force be with you.